Upon further review, Jayson Tatum's third quarter against Miami was so dominant. Maybe the best I've ever seen him play. And Celtics finishing strong. Is that going to reshape how we think about this first 2/3 of the season? It's all right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Yup. Beantown, be ever ready. Recognize the city of champs. Back to back, if I say it, it's stamped. Locked on number 19, the best one, the next one. Juice loose in your pool now for the next run. It's the C's, who else could it be? What they gon' say now? Screaming like JT, Karalis, recap the madness. Every game, every practice. Best daily pod, no cap like Brad Beckett. Clutch like Drew to KP, tap in daily. Prime time, dapping D White on the sideline. Raining J's, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast. It's right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day, and I got you covered every Monday through Friday. Bonus podcast when they play on the weekend. Not playing this weekend because it's the All-Star break, but when they do, I'm here, so make sure you're subscribed. The show will drop directly to your favorite podcasting app. You can also watch the show on YouTube. Get into the comment section, share your thoughts with me, share your thoughts with other Celtics fans, and enjoy the conversation. I'm John Karalis. I have been covering the Celtics for about 20 years now, doing it now for Boston Sports Journal. And today we'll be looking ahead to the Celtics finishing strong, hopefully with a win over San Antonio on Wednesday night. But we got to look backwards first at the dominance of Jayson Tatum and a few other leftovers from the Miami game. We're going to do it with our boy, Tom Westerholm. What's going on, Tom?
Honestly, I'm just here to talk about the Pistons and the Bulls.
Listen, I almost said Chicago because before this we started recording, you were like, "Oh, have you seen that score?" Where does it stand as we currently record?
They went to halftime 71-29. The Pistons.
Oh my God, 71-29.
Yeah, shout out to Ryan Bernardoni, who might actually get his double up that he's been hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to get the full game double up. I mean, has it ever happened?
I haven't been tracking it myself.
Yeah,
but yeah, well, I can't imagine it's
not common.
No,
and they just, I mean, at this point, like I said, go for the triple up. Just go for it, man. Wow,
29 points in the first half is just tough sledding, man.
Celtics have had some tough shooting nights, but that's as bad as it gets. Good to know that it happens to other teams, although it's the Chicago Bulls, and probably shouldn't be happening to the Celtics if it's happening to the Bulls, but whatever. So yeah, I almost said the Celtics versus the Bulls. The Celtics played Miami. And obviously just a great game against Miami. Our first bullet point here is Miami leftovers. What were your big takeaways, non-Jayson Tatum edition?
Yeah, so I think, we kind of talked about this after the trade deadline too, but I think it was like, and obviously, look, I know Tyler Hero is out, all that stuff, yada, yada. The Heat just are not a scary basketball team anymore. Like there's nothing, because the thing very mediocre. The thing about Jimmy Butler was like, listen, he's an odd star, right? Like he's kind of an odd dude. Like he's like but there was something about the way that he carried himself that really seemed to be a part of that Heat DNA that actually kind of made them somewhat scary, somewhat intimidating, somewhat
Heat culture, if you will.
A culture. I don't want to say Heat culture. That doesn't sound right.
No, I know. No. We just made it up and we're workshopping it.
Yeah,
but
an aura, perhaps. I know. Yeah. Sure. But either way, the Heat, like he was such an integral part of that. I just this Heat team does not move me in any way, and it goes beyond Tatum just demolishing them. It's just where's their scoring? Like the season ended now. The Heat would kind of be the favorite, right? The 7 seed, like you'd be like the favorite to face the Celtics in the first round. Perfect matchup for the Celtics. They would love, because to go from like the Heat to likely getting to attack Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson in the pick and rolls, like dream kind of 1-2 there. So that was my first takeaway. It was just like, I'm just not very impressed by Miami. And then I don't know if you want to rag on.
You just put the thought in my head. You just put the thought in my head is, Miami, New York, Cleveland path to the finals. I don't want to derail the show, but
yeah,
I kind of like that.
Listen, and I mean, I'm not without dumping on Cleveland, right? Because every team that you face in the conference finals is going to be a tough team. But like, yeah, that's pretty good if you're the Celtics. Like, you're not really seeing a team there that's like, ooh, really didn't want them. Like, it's like,
no. Yeah. So okay. So in yesterday's show, I spent a little bit of the time talking about the same thing with Miami and saying like, hey, they might want to consider moving Bam Adebayo.
Yeah.
Like he's 27, and I understand that this is at 27, he's a perennial defensive player of the year candidate. I know that he hasn't won, but you can argue that he should have.
Yeah, you sure can. Yeah.
Okay. So, and he's an evolving offensive player, but he can be part of a good offense. Mm-hmm. But at 27, at this point, when I look at Miami, I'm like, God, this is a team that needs to bottom out. And what are you going to hold on to Bam Adebayo for?
Right.
At this point, move him. He doesn't fit the timeline anymore all of a sudden. So get what you can, and it just makes it for an interesting trade piece.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it works for Boston or not for Boston, or if they would ever even move Bam to Boston, if that's something that they would even consider. I haven't given it any thought other than, I haven't ran the numbers or anything. I would say it's probably like a 95% no, but
I would say it might be higher of the Heat being willing to trade him to Boston. That feels deeply unlikely.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you see
Danny Ainge isn't here. Brad Stevens
isn't
there. Your guy to deal with.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, like, Tatum and Adebayo were like chatting with each other for, it felt like a good 20 minutes after the game. Just like,
I mean, I'm look, table it, put a pin in it.
Sure.
It's not part of the conversation now. I'm just, throwing it into the ether that, Bam, there could be a rejiggering of rosters, and just keep the name in the back of your head.
What feels a little bit more likely to me is that Bam goes, I don't know what team it would be, but to some team where he goes there and you're just like, I cannot believe that team got Bam Adebayo. Like, it feels like that
KC or something,
or I mean, like the Lakers trade LeBron or something. You know what I mean? Like something where you're just like Luka and Bam. Oh my god.
Like, what do you like? Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh God. Now I hate the idea. Damn it, Tom.
You brought it up.
Let's talk about the best center on the floor, Luke Cornett. How about that?
Listen. Heck of a player.
Heck of a player. No, he did not have like the best game in that one. But well, I look at that game, and my biggest takeaway from that is that second quarter, and when Sam Hauser's hitting, and when Peyton's playing the way he's playing, and Derrick White's just kind of pitching in and having some fun and doing all that stuff. That's the team. Like that team, even without Jaylen and without Drew, and it's almost like you're going back to last season, like a couple guys out here, a couple of guys out there, and you remember, like, maybe it was that worked last year because every night it was one guy got a night off, and then the other guys got to like get the extra shots. And when everybody's healthy, it's tough in the regular season to ask everybody to not, to sacrifice the way they need to sacrifice. It's more, you can do it in the playoffs because everybody understands playoffs are a different animal. But this concept of, hey, tonight's your turn to take a night off. It's your turn to take a night off. That actually kind of works. I thought it worked in this game.
Yeah, I think there's something to that, because the other thing it does is it forces your lineups to get real minutes together, right? Like, it forces odd lineups, like, or different. You get a look at all these different pairings. Like, I mean, you know, not much of a surprise that like, you know, Derrick White, Jayson Tatum, Porzingis, like that like can work, you know, like that type of thing can work or like whatever. Like, but when you see it together, it's like, man,
Yeah.
that's a group, you know, or like whatever it might be, like, or, you know, Cornette in the starting lineup, you know that he's one of the best plus minus guys, you know, whatever. But like when you get to see it, when you get those opportunities to see it, it's pretty interesting. And
Yeah.
I'm there with you there on Hauser. Obviously, I've talked about Hauser a lot, but I just think it is fun when you get it when he gets a chance to be that game breaker, you know, because
Yeah.
like sometimes he just comes in and he just ruins the other team
Oh
for
my
like
God.
5 minutes, and those 5 minutes end up kind of deciding the game. Like
No, 100%. Like
Sam
that.
Hauser is not without his flaws, but like sometimes he comes in and it's just boom,
Yes.
game done.
Yeah.
Blouses. See you guys.
It's just just hellfire. And
Yeah.
it's like you work so hard and like he shakes free and you're like, oh no. And it's when the first one falls, there has to be a fear because
Yeah.
now you have to get back out to him and you can see the scrambling, you can see the fear in the defense. It's fun to watch on the
Yeah.
Boston side.
It's
You're
fun to
right.
watch as a spot up shooter. You love it.
Man, it was nuts. He took a very ambitious heat check in that game. It was hilarious. I'm like, okay, Sam, I'm gonna look the other way on that 32-foot pull-up jumper, but that's okay.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah.
You start hitting those kind of threes, the dip gets really high on your chip. Like it's
So those guys broke the game Boston's way. Jayson Tatum buried him. I looked at the video. I went back through that third quarter, and I gotta tell you, dominance doesn't even begin to describe what Jayson Tatum did. I'll talk about that when I come back. Today's show is brought to you by Wayfair. After all that holiday hustle, there's nothing like giving your home a little TLC. I always find that decluttering and refreshing my space can help me get back into a nice little life routine. So whether you're tidying up, clearing out, or you just want to give your space a new look to start this year, Wayfair has everything you need, and it's all within your budget. My wife and I basically have like half the house out of the Wayfair website. It's really easy. You can it's tons of looks, whatever you're looking for, it's probably there and probably within your budget because you can find a lot of different things at a lot of different price points that fit what you're trying to do. They have free hassle-free delivery even for the larger items. The site's very easy to navigate. You can find everything you need in no time. There's something for every style, every home, no matter your space or budget. Wayfair makes it easy to tackle all your New Year's home goals with endless inspiration for every space. And it's like I said, it's the place that it's like the first place my wife goes when it's time to freshen things up. Give your home the refresh it needs with Wayfair. Head to wayfair.com right now. That's Wayfair, Wayfair, wayfair.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. I would love for you to go sign up for the new Locked On Celtics newsletter. I know words. I can speak words. The new Locked On Celtics newsletter, get it at lockedondaily.com. Sign up by clicking on that Locked On Celtics logo at lockedondaily.com. You'll get Celtics, NBA, and fantasy coverage directly to your inbox. Links to great Celtics coverage around the web, and you will, if you miss a podcast here or there, the newsletter is a great way to kind of get caught up because it does give you a daily kind of piece based on what the podcast was about. So check it out at lockedondaily.com. All right, let's get back to the conversation here and Jayson Tatum's complete and utter dominance in that third quarter. And like I said, I broke it down on Boston Sports Journal. And when I poured through the video, I saw plays that were connected. Like he runs a pick and roll with Al Horford up against Khalil Ware, and he sees Ware dropping down, and he pulls up. And so the next time down, He runs the pick and roll to the left. Ware is dropping. Tatum hesitates like he's going to step. He has that footwork that he's going to step into a shot. Ware steps up, boom, busts right by him. Gets into the teeth of the defense. Then when he's in the teeth of the defense, he's manipulating where he's going based on how he was defended on the line. It's the way he just layered his game and said, okay, I've done this. You're expecting this. Now I'm going to hit you with this counter. And now I see that you've defended me this way. I know I can get here. I see that, for example, Terry Rozier, no one doubled regularly. They jabbed and recovered. Yeah. And so when Tatum on one of his last drives just drove left and Rozier stepped over, Tatum ignored him because he's like, you're not really coming after the ball. All I got to do is protect the ball a little bit, and I'm just going to keep going. I'm not passing. I'm not taking the bait. I know you guys have been jabbing and recovering. So I'm just going to keep on going. This is why you have to vary your coverages and all of that stuff. But this is one of the smartest quarters I've seen from Tatum. One of the best, I think I regularly get on Tatum for maybe not manipulating defenses enough. And he did that a lot in this game. This is some of the best basketball, ISO basketball that I have ever seen Tatum play.
Yeah. It's fascinating too, to get a chance. You know, we've all season, right? We've spent all this time being like, Tatum's a little underappreciated because usually what he's doing is passing off, and he's so willing. I mean, I think, you know, one of the greatest things about him is how willing he is to make the pass that he knows isn't going to be an assist. You know, that two people come to him and he makes that pass off it, and it's going to get swung one more time, and that's fine. You know, and he does that, and that's winning basketball. To just to not care. You're like, yeah, sure, whatever. I got a hockey assist, and nobody cares about that. But because he's not piling up 20 assist games. But he is but you know, 7 or 8 or whatever. And how many more did he create by making the right simple pass? Huge part of his game. But I think one thing that's been really fun in the last 2 games, right, in these 2 dominant offensive performances, is oh yeah, this is why teams do bring that double that they know he's just going to pass out of. Because if you don't, he can just crush you. And you know, the Knicks saw it because they have so many pick and roll targets, and he just said, yep. Give me Karl Anthony Towns. Oh, you're done with Karl Anthony Towns? Okay, give me Jalen Brunson. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And then obviously with Miami, you know, they weren't sending the double. They were just kind of letting poor Terry Rozier. What is he supposed to do? He's not an amazing defender, but what is he supposed to do against Tatum in this form right now? Brutal. So I don't know. That was one of my. It's fun to get a chance to get a reminder of oh yeah, this is why they're trying to take the ball out of his hands, even though that barely works for them either.
Yeah, it's you know, I want to see if I can do one of these little. Let me share the video here. This is the last second kind of thing here, so I don't know if you guys can hear the stuff in the background. So I want to share on the video here. I'll talk through it on the audio side. You talk about the Terry Rozier thing, and I wanna highlight this play because it was really, really incredible. Just this recognition, right? So I'm watching Tatum come down the floor, right? And it's one of these plays where it looks like, okay, he's just dribbling the ball, right? He's on the left side. He's up on he's got Terry Rozier, and it looks like, oh, he's just dribbling the ball, right? Oh, am I not getting a good look at this? It looks like he's playing with the ball, but he's actually kind of probing. He's probing. Is this not working? Do you see it?
Yeah, it's not good. It's not working real well.
It's not really working real well. His dribble. I don't know why. Oh, that's a shame. It it looks like he's playing with the ball, but what he's doing is he's trying to see how Terry Rozier is playing him. And once he figures out that Terry is trying to force him to the middle, then the next thing you know, he sets up this sidestep right three-pointer.
Yeah.
But because Terry Rozier is playing him towards the middle, once he sees Rozier with an angle where his left foot is angled back. Let me see if I can find it here. Not cooperating with me. That sucks. Okay, this right here. Terry Rozier has his left foot kind of back. He's opening him up and saying to Tatum, I'm forcing you to the middle. He's all of the extra dribbles that Tatum has taken has gotten Terry Rozier to show this is the angle I'm giving you. We have a big in the middle. I'm trying to force you into the help. I'm not trying to guard you. I'm trying to force you. Take the drive. I'm giving you your dominant hand. Take that drive down the middle. And Tatum's like, you know what? No, I am not going to do that, because when you're like this, I know two things. You're 6'1" and you're not on my shooting hand. And as soon as he sees that, he's like, oh, no problem. I am going to sidestep right, because Terry Rozier is not capable of getting there to contest that shot. Look at that. And Tatum and Rozier stupidly tries to contest it with his right hand instead of his left. Tatum sees that shot, that angle of the defense, and he's like, I know what you're trying to do. I've gotten you to tell me what you're trying to do, and now I'm going to take advantage of it. And it looks like dribble, sidestep three, but it's really probe. You told me where you look like a poker. You gave me your tell. I'm calling your bluff. I'm doing this. And it's just a matter of make or miss. So that's the level of, I think, Tatum processing that we don't really appreciate. We don't appreciate that Tatum, what Tatum is doing in these moments, because what you see is dribble. But that every dribble like that, he's trying to get the defense to tell him what he's doing. And it told a lot, because Terry Rozier is not the best defender anymore.
Right. I'm basically doing an advertisement for Drew Hanlon here. And I will say, I think if you're a Celtics fan and you play any level of basketball at all, right? Like if you're just somebody who likes to go to the gym and get some shots up, whatever it is, and you got $5 to spare, I would kind of encourage people to go take a look at the Pure Sweat app that Drew Hanlon created. Because what he did is he took all of these things that he like all these like little counters, all these little dribble moves. He shows you them in a video and he has you run them, and then you try them out, right? You try like, okay, this step through, this cross into a step through, all this stuff. And it's really interesting, because what you get when you do some of these workouts, I mean, you might get a little better at basketball. I don't know. Who cares? None of us are going to the league. But what I mean, like I said, I'm sorry, Karalis. I think you might have to. I think it might be time to face some facts here. But but what you do is you get this appreciation. I'll keep talking. What you do is you get this appreciation for the things the way that Tatum. You talk about how Tatum has layered his game. When you try these moves out, you get this little bit of like, wow, everything he does is like rehearsed, but like he's thinking it as it's happening. He's watching the defense come to him, and he's done 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, I don't even know, step throughs. And now he knows, like, it's just natural for him to go boom, boom. That's why it looks so easy. But none of this stuff is easy. This is all stuff that has been very intentionally put together over the course of years and years and years of work. And it's kind of fun to like dig into it a little bit and kind of take those drills and be like, okay, this is what he did. It would take me, a time machine, different genetics and just a whole level of thing for me to get to that point. But I see how he did it. It makes for an interesting hour. You know
what that's called? It's called having a deep bag.
That's what it is. Yes.
It's having a deep bag.
Exactly.
And that's the reads come from repetition and work. It's not, he's not like just a savant. That's work. Tatum has put in thousands and thousands and thousands of hours.
We've talked about this before. If anybody isn't a savant, it's Jayson Tatum. He's just steadfastly
work.
Yeah.
He's just put in the work. Yeah. And like when you see this, I do this.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just recognition, and he's processing it at an incredibly high speed, but it's incredible. That third quarter, watch it closely. It was incredible. Even the things that look simple are not. All right, Celtics have an opportunity here to finish strong on Wednesday night against the Spurs. Let's look at what the Celtics have been doing, and maybe is it time to move past all of the consternation? We'll talk about all that next. Today's show is brought to you by Open Phone. Running a small business means you're wearing a lot of hats. Your personal phone becomes your business phone. And before you know it, you're juggling customer calls all day and night. As your team grows, it becomes impossible to manage everything with just your personal number. That's where Open Phone comes in. It's the number one business phone system designed to help you keep your work and personal life separate. Oh, so important. For just $15 a month, just the cost of a few coffees, you get complete transparency and visibility into everything happening with your business phone number. Open Phone works through an app on your phone or computer and integrates with tools like HubSpot and hundreds of others. It uses AI-powered call transcripts and summaries to give you a rundown of all your calls and action items the second you hang up. And if you miss a call, no problem. Automated messages are sent directly to your customer, ensuring you never miss an opportunity to engage. Open Phone is offering 20% off your first 6 months right now. So go to openphone.com/LockedOnNBA to check it out. That's openphone, openphone.com/LockedOnNBA for 20% off your first off of 6 months. Openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. And if you have existing numbers with another service, Open Phone will port them over at no extra charge. Thank you so much for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On NBA. It is Locked On NBA game night. Covers every game every night. That Bulls and Pistons game is going to be a fun one for them to talk about if they even decide. Oh, it's 87-50. Oh, they're closing the gap. They'll talk about that game there. And there's also Locked On NBA in the middle of the day, debate show style. So go check that out. Tom, the Celtics are on a little bit of a roll.
Yeah.
I'd say. What do we say here? It's 6 out of their last 7 and 9 out of their last 12. That's pretty nice.
With wins against the teams sandwiching them in the standings. Like,
yep. Beat New York, beat Cleveland. That's important to have that. Yeah. So wins against the teams that are potentially their opponents. They're 38-16. They're still winning 70% of their games. They are 2 wins away from that 40-20 mark that Dan Greenberg keeps like mentioning. That's his thing.
Yeah.
The theory that you got to win. True contenders win 40 before they lose 20. So the Cavs have done it. The Thunder have done it. The Celtics are 38-16. So 2 more wins. They will do it. And look, they've been disappointing in the second third of the season. I really want to get into the habit of first third, 27 games, second third, 28 games. Their 28th game is this Spurs game, so that finishes nice and clean. Their second third of the season. They hit into this final third of the regular season with some momentum and an ability to like, hey, all right, this is our big, strong finish. They were, I forget what they were in the first 27, but like, I think they were 21-6 or something like that. Something ridiculous. Finish strong like that. They have an opportunity here to, if they win this game 39, that'll be the 39th win. If they can go 20-7, 21-6, let's say 21-6, that gets them to 60 wins. 60 win team, that's a magic number. That's not just a great season. That 60 wins is not something that happens very often. Very few teams win 60 games. They have an opportunity to go 21-6 in their final 27. If they win against San Antonio, 21-6 is a lot, but if they can go on a little bit of a roll and start to execute and stop these clutch time demises and the playing down to opponents, if they can erase some of that stuff and put more effort in, the opportunity to be a 60-win team is still there.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, look, I think how much of that is just determined by Derrick White seems to be back, making shots again. I think so much of it is just like boils down to and you can use Derrick White as kind of the barometer, right across the rest of
absolutely.
Is everybody else making threes?
Our
Those
guys,
two
guys are pretty good, barometers for sure.
Yeah. If those guys are making threes, if that's all clicking, that probably means the Celtics offense is doing good things. If the Celtics offense is doing good things, their defense is probably doing good things. Everything just starts to kind of flow together. I think it's definitely possible. I mean, I think 21-6 is that's a lot of wins over the course of a time when the Celtics aren't always going to be playing all their guys, right? You're going to have a lot of kind of time that people are taking off. I know you got to ramp up for the playoffs. I know you got to do that, but there will be games that people miss here and there. But as we just talked about earlier, you get other looks. How many games did Peyton Pritchard win them down the stretch last year because nobody wanted to play because they were 20 games ahead in the standings, and Pritchard was just like, I mean, yeah, more for me. I'll go.
Right.
Absolutely nothing stopping that from being the case again this year. So, it's not out of the question, like you said.
Derrick White, so the his splits page on NBA.com has this nice little breakdown.
It's a good one.
If you do it, so it breaks down into 10 game segments here. First 10 games of the season, 40.2% from three. Second 10 games of the season, 43.8. So that's almost like the first third is kind of in there.
Yeah.
Not right. Now we're at
first fourth anyway. Yeah.
It's kind of So games 21 through 30, 33.7%. Oh, games 31 through 40, the heart of the Celtics struggles, 31.5%. Games 41 through 50. Here we are. We're getting into this little stretch here. 9 games, 39%, and then 4 games in this current stretch of 51 through 60. 4 games, he's shooting 42.5%. So he's right back up, right near his best shooting numbers. And here come the Celtics. And look, plus minus 10.9, 6.4, 4.6, 1.8, 9.6. And Derrick White is the barometer. He is the barometer. So as long as he can keep going, and I think him and Pritchard as well, Hauser, basically the shooters.
Yeah.
It's when Derrick White is playing well, it's because the ball is moving. It's because he's getting the good looks and a lot of catch and shoot opportunities, and his, a lot of pull-ups too, but it's the ball has been moving. The offense looks good.
Yeah.
And that's why I think he gets these looks and can cash them in. So look, it's there for everything the Celtics have been through. And I don't know what the Cavs are going to be. The Celtics might end up being the second seed. That's fine. The Celtics, a 60-win season is still within their grasp. And for a team that's been coasting, to still have the possibility, a real possibility of a 60-win season, that kind of tells you how good they can be.
It does. I mean, to go from a 60+ win championship run too, right? And then to be in a position to still win 60 games the year after as well, post championship hangover, post all that stuff, post trip to Abu Dhabi, post everything, to be in this position to to potentially push for 60 again is it's a deep, talented, strong team. I mean,
so just to tie this up, game 27 of this season was the loss to Chicago at home. They had lost to Chicago, Memphis, Cleveland, Atlanta, Golden State, and Indiana. That's 6. So they were 21-6 in that first 27 games. So just look, 21-6, 21-6, The middle is the middle part. That creamy middle is like not so great, but if you can just do what you did in the first half of the season, then there you are. Beat the Spurs, finish strong. After Jayson Tatum said, "Oh yeah, we keep letting our fans down at home." Do not follow that quote up by letting the fans down at home.
You can't do it. It'd be a terrible.
You cannot do it. Please do not do it. Do not make me ask you that question about you said you were letting the fans down at home. And what was this? Do not do that, Jayson. I do not want to do this.
Do you guys not understand how sick Karalis is of asking? So you said
I don't want to do it. I just want to be like, so strong finish.
Good job,
let's
man.
keep it up. Like, yeah, your dad's doing great in Australia, isn't he? Like, let's do that conversation. All right. We'll see. Tom, thank you so much.
Appreciate you, man.
We'll be chatting with Tom Westerholm plenty throughout the All-Star break. I do appreciate everybody listening and everybody watching. I will be there for this Spurs game. I like I said, I hope I'm asking fun questions. I hope it's a fun podcast tomorrow night. And then we'll follow it up with a podcast to finish off the week, kind of like looking back at things. And then it's All-Star weekend, and the podcast next week on Monday will be All-Star weekend stuff. And hopefully it's a fun podcast there, and it's a fun All-Star weekend. We'll see what that format does. As always, subscribe so you get these podcasts directly to your favorite podcasting app. We're on all of them, so make sure that you are there with us. Watch the show on YouTube and get into the comments section, share your thoughts, and then share the podcast. Tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.